Whenever people were mad at Ubisoft about saying you should be comfortable owning your games, I mean, they're kind of right. We already don't own our games. Like, I'm glad Ubisoft is going under, but they're going under for completely different reasons. Not for saying something that's true. Most people, most normal people don't give a shit about owning anything. Stop being weird. Like, most normal people, I guess gamers aren't normal, right? That's the key. That's the key. Most normal people use Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Spotify. Like, they don't own CDs. They don't own records. They don't own DVD and Blu-ray collections. That's not normal. We're in 2025. So to say that games should stay physical is like the reality. Yeah, that's the reality people seem to like. They act like it's not normal. It is. Like, yeah, maybe everyone's idiots for letting that become the new normal. You could say that, but it is normal. It's not normal for everything to still be physical. I think it wouldn't be such an issue. Regular consumers don't give a fuck. Yeah, they just want to consume. I think the bigger issue isn't that you're not owning what you play anymore. It's that they're charging you full price for it and you don't own it, right? Why is a digital copy of a game the same as a physical copy of a game? There's not a warehouse you need to store a digital copy of a game in. There's not a shipment that a physical copy needs to make to a big box retailer or a mom and pop shop. There is not a actual disc that the digital version needs to be printed on. There is a bunch of steps of labor being cut out. Why the fuck is it the same price? Right? If there were different prices, I think people would probably just go digital. Right? If the physical copy was $70 and the digital copy was $50, I think a lot more people would be like, yeah, okay, I don't own this. It's just digital, sure, because it's not the same price for a different product. Old COD's still being charged full price on digital markets is wicked work. Yeah. That's a perfect example. Like, especially a lot of these old games. Like, why the fuck is a Call of Duty game that if I play it online, I'm probably gonna get doxxed or DDoSed? Why is that game the same price as Call of Duty Black Ops 6 that has a working implementation of anti-cheat where I won't get killed? Someone won't show up at my door with an actual gun if I beat them in the game. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? How do I get in there? Oh, there's a door. I mean, there's still cheaters in Call of Duty Black Ops 6, by the way. I'm not saying that it doesn't have an anti-cheat problem. I'm saying that the anti-cheat is working well enough that people can't find out my fucking home address. That's what I'm saying. What I don't understand is why physical copies of Pokemon on the old systems are still collector's items. That's very different because those are collector's items. I thought digital copies meant the game being run on a virtual machine, so you wouldn't have to have a physical copy. No, that's like a game streaming, rather. What up, Nectar Z? What up, Avian Spectre? I'm glad people are here for this talk, because I think this is a really good talk. I think I could trim this down and turn it into a YouTube video, so if you guys have anything to bounce off me, feel free to. So, Ubisoft specifically was talking about game streaming, right? They're talking about the Netflix of gaming, right? We have Xbox Game Pass, which you download the games to your system, and then you play them, right? That's kind of what a lot of publishers want now. They want like you to be on their platform, to be on their subscription and paying for like Ubisoft Connect, and now you have all the Ubisoft games, or Google Gaming Plus, whatever the phone one is, right? Where you pay like 99 cents a month and you get access to a giant catalog of Google Play Store games, right? That's what most of these things want now. Like, you'll get ads for Chromebook, but you'll get gaming. Yeah, dropping meat, true. But the big deal is Snowball Time. Yo, what up? How you doing? What up, Spectre? Let me see how much these are worth. I have no idea. So, I don't dislike... That was a good snowball toss, dude. I don't dislike the idea of cloud gaming. I just think we're not in an all-digital future to the point where that becomes the norm. I think they need to start with something like Game Pass. I think if these big publishers want you to play their games and have their games be easily accessible, they need to start by just having a subscription service where now you have access to all of their games, right? You have an Ubisoft account? Cool. You pay $13 a month and you have access to all the Ubisoft games in our catalog of games that maybe rotate sometimes. Another good snowball toss. That would be a way to do it, right? Because currently cloud gaming is not the future for a lot of regions. A lot of regions don't have strong enough internet. So then you cut off a giant subset of players who could be gaming and playing and having a good time with your games. Right? That's why I say first start with, ooh, whoa, those sold for more than I thought. Okay, I might do that for a little bit while I'm chatting. So the idea of an Xbox Game Pass styled thing that keeps people engaged in your ecosystem is good, right? That's why whenever people say, oh, Xbox is going through an identity crisis, I say, no, Xbox knows exactly what they are. Xbox wants to be the Netflix of gaming, but currently in a way that's not so intrusive for gamers who can't afford good enough internet or don't have access to good enough internet, right? Like my internet speeds aren't amazing. I can live stream using them, but my internet speeds aren't amazing by any stretch. I get like 550 down and like on a good day 60 up. Okay, that's good, right? I know people in areas very close to mine, right? I live in a city in Texas, not a super big city, but a city nonetheless. And right outside of this is a few neighboring small towns with way worse internet. Those places would probably be more than likely cut off from something like Xbox Cloud Gaming. They would not be able to use Xbox Cloud Gaming, but they can use Xbox Game Pass. Are you saving up for a bond? I have tons of money. I have 400 mil. I'm chilling. I'm just a free to play warrior until I decide that I'm gonna play this game more than twice a week, and then I'll probably go back to members, because that's when I was playing 4 or 5 days a week, at least for a couple hours while I was at work or something on my phone. I had membership, but I stopped doing that. So it's fine for off-topic stuff. Where the laptop has shit spec, but you can still play on ultra high graphics because the game isn't natively running your PC. Yeah, that's the cloud gaming, right? So GeForce Now, Xbox Cloud Gaming, those are good services, right? Because you can also use them like the new Xbox marketing, like it says, this is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. If you have Xbox Cloud Gaming, you can play full AAA Xbox games on your phone using the cloud gaming services. The same thing with even now with the PlayStation Portal. And now you can cloud game, not the Ouya. Yeah, the Ouya. The Android console of the future. Yeah, good one. So back when the Portal first came out, it was only a remote play device. You could only use it with a native PS5. Now, if you have PlayStation's highest subscription, which is like $170 a year, it's kind of ridiculous. Their highest subscription a year, if you have that, Chocolate does. Okay. Then now you can use it as a cloud gaming console. You have access to the cloud gaming catalog with PlayStation, and you can use your Portal as a cloud gaming device in-home at places that have Wi-Fi. The next big step for these, the next big step for a lot of these big box manufacturers, like the Xboxes, the PlayStations, the Nintendos, we've had them attempt it before. We've had Sony attempt a 5G or a 4G connection with the Vita. I think it might have even been 3G. The Vita was a long fucking time ago. I cannot remember if 4G existed then, but it was an AT&T contract. And then we have the Razer Edge, which came out 2 years ago, I think now, that had a 5G connection with Verizon that you could get with the 5G model of that device, right? It was a more expensive version, but then you had access to cloud gaming all the time because you had a strong Verizon service, hopefully all across your city. If your city didn't have good Verizon towers, then well, maybe you were fucked. Same thing with the AT&T one, but AT&T's got like everywhere, right? So the next big step for these manufacturers is to start putting 5G connectivity in their mobile devices that they want you to use cloud gaming for, right? Like, sure, you could front the hardware and then maybe have a subsidized version of the experience where you just pay monthly. But if they're still trying to sell you a device to get you to feel like a gamer, then that device needs to have mobile 5G connectivity. I think that's the next step, because if every device that comes out from PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo from now on, I say Xbox, not Microsoft, but you know what I mean, from now on, has 5G connectivity built in, and they're going to try to push cloud streaming, that's what you do. Because otherwise, you're cutting off a section of your market without offering them something in return. If you just have an Xbox Game Pass type subscription, or you still offer physical media, which they're trying to be done with, then okay. But I mean, on their end, it makes sense to get rid of physical media. It's less storefronts, right, that they have to put their games in. It's less production of discs. You no longer need a disk drive on the console. You no longer need some sort of a card reader that's not a SIM card reader. I'm sorry, an SD card reader, a proprietary. You need a proprietary slot for a Nintendo console so people don't jailbreak all your fucking games. So these things, these technologies cost extra money that they don't want to front anymore, clearly. So that's why they're trying to move to an all digital future. But in that all digital future, you need to make sure that people can reasonably download your games or stream your games. That's the issue. Like, I understand that there's a lot of places in the world that have bad enough internet that they probably can't even download games, and that's where physical still kind of is necessary. But games get updates now. Like, you might just be screwed. Like, say you bought a day one copy of a game, and before you can play the game, a day one patch has to happen. If your internet is so bad that you can't play the day one patch, you can't patch the day one version of the game or whatever in a meaningful amount of time, you're shit out of a whole day now. You can no longer play that game anyway. That's why it feels so bad that they're trying to push an all digital future, and that we're in the era of patches, right? I want to say most of the world doesn't have that issue, right? If you live in like rural America, you still have access most of the time to good enough internet, unless, I don't know, you live on a fucking farm. Like, you have access to good enough internet that won't even be an issue for you. It only really becomes an issue in very impoverished areas. The idea of an all digital future is fine with me, as long as they take precautions or as long as they keep in mind gamers who can't be gamers will no longer be at the cutting edge. I had to walk away for a minute to take my medicine. I had a question pop into my head. What's the question? Hit me with it. Thoughts on almost every game implementing battle passes now? That's a way for a game to play you. We'll wrap up. Let me wrap up this, and then we'll talk about that. I like that idea. That's a good thing to talk about. So, an all digital future doesn't scare me because I live in a pretty decent area when it comes to internet connections, as long as the savings for us exist. As consumers, if we're not getting a good deal, not buying our games anymore, not owning our games anymore, not having physical as an option anymore, then I don't want it, right? They're really not trying to pass those savings on to consumers, and that's the part that scares me the most. If some of that is either subsidized by the company or becomes true savings for the consumers, I'm totally fine with an all digital future. You see, when I watch a movie on Netflix or Paramount Plus, or watch a TV show on Paramount Plus, Hulu, Netflix, I'm not paying per watch. I just stream it. Okay, and Netflix is what, I don't know, $13 a month, $14 a month. It's kind of expensive now, but that's about how much it is. If Xbox Cloud Gaming gets to the point where that's how much it is for everything, as long as it's not pulling a Google Stadia and making you buy your games and then stream them, I think we're okay. I think we'll be all right. The vast majority of people, as long as they keep the option to also digitally download games, we should be okay. For those who are completely screwed and their internet is so bad that they can't play any modern games anymore, gaming is not a pastime that can only be enjoyed in the now. There's tons of old and amazing games, retro games as it were, that exist, right? You can go back and play Super Mario World right now and it's still one of the greatest games to ever exist. You can go back and play Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, personal pick of mine, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. You can even play one of the greatest games of all time right now without any downloads. You just need a fucking GameCube or a PS2 or an Xbox 360. Was Resident Evil 2 on Xbox 360? Right, I'm sorry, Resident Evil 4. Oops, Resident Evil 4. You can go back and play Resident Evil 4. You can play the old Doom game. Play the good. Shout out Billy Hatcher always. You can even go back and play the OG of OG best racing games of all time. Need for Speed Most Wanted. There's tons of games that will exist in an all digital future. They're just older. And probably, if I'm quite honest, put together significantly better than a lot of modern games anyway. That's how I feel about a potential all digital future. This was like a little rant. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave your comments down below. Tell me how you feel about a potential all digital future. Are you not ready to let go of physical media at all? Do you wish that if they're going to get rid of physical media, that we'll get some sort of savings for it? Do you live in an area where there's no way you'll ever be able to reasonably download giant games like Call of Duty or cloud stream games at reasonable settings? Talk to me. Leave it in the comment section down below. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. because we put out random talk segments and things like this all the time, hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers eventually so I can make that mucho dinero on YouTube. Anyways, it's been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes talking about the all-digital future and potential cloud gaming future solutions. Signing out and saying peace.